Welcome back to the actuality, everybody. This is Angel Citadel. My name is Josh Wallace. I'm going to be your game master here. This is a live play called The Soul's Direction, and the game is Invisible Sun by Monte Cook Games. We're down one on our cast today. We're missing him, but we're gonna keep plugging on here as we start winding down this campaign. I think. Let's go ahead and go through our cast and those of you that are just joining us, we appreciate you. We want to make sure that you know who we are. So, Chris, why don't you kick us off?
I'm Chris, or Synth. I'm playing Sterling Price, a former Vance who gave up his mind to enter the red. And he splinters into fragments. He's probably currently splintered somewhere.
Somewhere, somehow, yes. Jeff?
And I am playing Albion Finch, who is an established Waveheart apostate who walks with a secret companion named Reynard.
Our favorite fox. And last but not least, Joanne.
I am playing. Wait, where's my mic? I hope they can hear me. Oh my god. Ignore the technical difficulties. It's been a week. I'm playing Claire Thespian, a gallant goetic who brandishes battle magic.
And reads the fates.
Yes, and reads the fates. Is it gallant goetic who reads the fates and brandishes battle magic, or?
I think so. I think the appurtenance comes
I get
first.
to run around with a
suit deck.
Suit deck of my own. Yes.
All right. Let's see. Where did we wrap up last time, and what happened last session? Who wants to talk about that? We're all shaking our head.
Look, we drove to Georgia and back, and then we drove to New York and back. If you expect me to remember anything except wah, you're kind of out.
All right. You, in the gold, collected both your soul piece and the multiphasic compass, and used that to learn how to travel in two new cardinal directions, Stam and Rem. And when you did that, you hopped in your TARDIS Beetle, driven around by a other spirit named Screech, and went over to Lower Taversworth and discovered that instead of being on the edge of the reclamation, as everybody thinks, if you look north, there is a whole other district that you can travel to if you know the way. And that is Upper Taversworth. And when we last left off, you had walked into Upper Taversworth and were looking around and found a very, very, very tall building that looked really expensive. So you are standing there.
Now, I have a question. Does it look like there are any people living in this area?
It's wonderful that you asked that. Can you make me a perception roll, please?
I mean, I can. Oh dear, what did I do with my dice? Use my
Please
giant
tell me the
dice.
cat didn't eat them.
No, but he did lose one of them, and then I put them away. Stupid cat. Eating my invisible sun dice. Not great. I have, okay, 6. 6 total.
All right. As you look around, you do notice a few people. There are both those that look like you, although they're all human per se, and a fairly large contingent of Eldebrin. Probably 1 to every 3, which is fairly high. Now, it's not that there's a ton of people that you're looking at, right? It's a person here, 2 people there, as you look down the streets. But there are, it is not empty either.
Okay. Suppose I would approach one of the folks that I see, whoever's nearest.
Okay. You walk up to an Eldebrin who happens to be nearest. He is dressed in a suit, and out of the arms of the suit and such are feathers. And you see a long beaked head. Almost looks kind of like a raven, except the beak is long and kind of curved at the end. And he's wearing a 3-piece suit and walking around on 2 legs.
Excuse me. How?
He turns and looks at you.
How long have you lived in this area?
He reaches into an inner vest pocket and he pulls out a pocket watch. He clicks the button at the top and it kind of flips open. He looks at it. 400 years now? 412.
Okay.
No, 13. And he clicks the pocket watch closed and puts it back in his pocket.
That's very interesting. Now, where are is this Upper Taverswood?
Yes.
Well, I'll be damned. Have you left Upper Taverswood to visit any of the other areas of town recently?
He chortles. And it sounds almost like a bird's chortle. I'm not even going to try and imitate it because, but it's a very light-hearted laugh. No, of course not. There's no need. We have everything that we need here. The lady provides.
Which lady is that?
Why, Visla, of course. Your mistress. You are Visla, are you not?
Suppose yes. Does Visla live here?
No, she has much better things to do.
And how exactly does she provide?
Well, we have everything that we need here, of course. We have people that can grow crops, and we have people that make things, and we have people that uh, provide for furniture and housing, and we have the temple and all the other things that we need. She's provided all those things for us.
Are you able to leave here if you need to?
I mean, I suppose I've never tried, but
Do you know the way to the Marquis Quarter?
to the marquee. Yes, I believe you can get there by rail if you leave there from Lower Towersworth.
Do you know how to get to Lower Taversworth?
Well, yes, it's just right over. And he points kind of off to the south.
Mm-hmm.
You're a very strange fellow, aren't you?
Some have made that claim, I suppose. Well, what was your name?
Albrecht?
Such a wonderful, wonderful name. It's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Albion,
Likewise.
and this here is my friend Raynard. You call him Rainy. And
What a lovely fox.
I reach into my pocket and I pull out a card and I hand it to him and I say, "Now, should you ever be in outside of this district and you're looking for dinner companion, you can give me a call. Use the number, not this number. This number's the old number."
And he
It's been
takes
such a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
he takes the business card with both of his claws at the end of the feathers outside of the sleeves, very, very graciously, and he puts it carefully into his breast pocket and pats it. Oh, I will, sir, I will. It's been an honor to meet you, Mr. Albion and Reynard. It's lovely to meet you. We very rarely get any visitors here.
You know, it's just occurred to me that the other number also no longer works. Now that I have no home, you can just ask around for me. Go to any pub, they'll know me.
He kind of looks at you for a second, and then he's like, "Oh," and then he winks. Right.
Yes, that is right. It has been such a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Thank you for helping to orient me in this area. Oh, which way did you say that the Temple of Vizsla was?
Oh, my dear sir, you can't hardly miss it. And he points it out, and it's the giant building.
Okay, so that is the temple. I'd been curious. I wasn't entirely certain what that building was, but it does follow that it would be the temple. Thank you again, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Oh, likewise. And he walks off, kind of whistling a tune.
I return and I explain that to Claire. I say, well, these folks seem to feel connected to Saturine at large, or at least he did. It didn't seem as though it was a problem that they were, well, separated by direction that no one can see. But that large building in front of us is the Temple of Vizsla. I suppose that's why we have come.
Probably right.
Thank you for that overwhelming information. What do you think our next steps might be?
Claire seems to be pondering, and then she's gonna start shuffling her deck. I think we should check out this Temple of Vizsla.
Well, yes, I suppose that's why we did come. Uh,
All right. So are you pulling a card or are you just shuffling the deck?
Yeah, she's gonna pull a card.
Okay. Pull your card.
Aw, shit. No! I don't like this
is
one.
it?
Read it.
Savage Sword. Meanings war, savagery, strength, violence, brute force. The sword is a weapon of war, a metaphor for any kind of weapon one might wield. The savage sword is our basest nature. I almost read that as beastest. Okay. I hate when you make me read out loud. Our predilection toward violence and our shameful bloodlust. But it is also our strength to overcome obstacles and foes when we need to. It is the opposite of thought, strategy, or consideration. It is immediate and decisive without hesitation or regard for consequence. The savage sword is the opposite of the revealing knife in most respects.
This episode of Invisible Sun brought to you by Get Out of My Damn Head, Monty. Good grief.
Yeah, I vote we take our rather large-nosed friend and take him to the Temple of Vizsla.
Will he be able to enter? We have elected all the pieces of our souls.
If he is one of her chosen, I think he'll be able to enter.
Very well. Give
And
it a
if he's
try.
not, then the fireworks will be fantastic.
And how do you feel about that, Ben?
I would like to see the temple. I have heard stories, but none of my people has ever been. We could never find the way.
Claire's
That
going
is
to
because
stand
it is.
and go, ta-da! And point at the temple. Look, we found
It's
it.
It's that way.
And we
The
didn't
two
even
of
know.
you should get together and write a book on sarcasm. You could teach the Vizsla a little bit about it, I think. Yes?
I think they've got a handle on it. Let's find the door. Front door, preferably. A building this large has probably certainly
And we'll
many
make a map.
side entrances.
Okay.
And we'll make a map. I will not be making a map for you, ma'am. You can use whatever scratch paper you brought with you.
Why would I do that? And she's going to make the sign, and a little wind imp is going to pop up next to her. holding a piece of paper and a pen.
That's fantastic. All right, he's going to draw a map for you. You walk up to this massive building, and finding the front door is not hard. This door is at least 50 feet tall. Extremely opulent, and on the front of the door, split between the two halves of it, you see a massive path of suns etched into the wood and gilded with gold.
How many suns are there?
7, and then one off to the side. So 8.
So they're missing a sun?
Did I miscount? Hang on.
Yeah, it's 8 suns plus the invisible, but I was wondering if
Yes, then 8 plus
the rumors of a lost sun was
I like the 9 sun
going to be
idea.
proven.
No, you're correct. It's 8 suns and then the 9th off to the side.
Okay. They declare, I'd often heard that there was a lost sun, but if it's not reflected here, then perhaps the rumors are just that.
Do you guys want to go in?
I am going to knock on the door.
I'm going to open the door before she knocks on it.
Alrighty then.
How rude! This might be somebody's house.
It's a temple.
There could be naked
And-
people in there. You don't know that.
That would mean that they were worshiping the way that they worship. If they don't want me to be there, they'll have the door locked. Temples are intended to
God.
be welcoming.
Alrighty. Go ahead and draw me a card, if you would, please.
No, temples are very welcoming. Anybody can go in. It's nightclubs you have to worry about. They require ID cards.
And some of them make you sign a waiver. Well, the interesting ones do.
Yep.
A waiver, an NDA. Ah! No! You're fired! I'm fired! Revealing knife.
So we had the opposite of the revealing knife. And now we have the revealing knife.
Yes, we do. But it's notable, right, that the opposite of the revealing knife is on her board, and the revealing knife is on my board.
Oh, I see.
She has her own board with this appurtenance. So,
And a
revealing
demon
knife
following me around. And a demon following me around.
and a demon following you around.
Hiding in the shadows to keep Billy from stabbing him.
That's right. Revealing knife. Visions, swans, blades, water. It means revelation, discovery, finesse. The revealing knife cuts everything. It slices through buildings or mountains as easily as paper or flesh. Anything that obfuscates what lies beyond or within is cut with precise strokes. We long for such a tool to cut away the confusion and the lies, but we fear it as well. For what would such a knife slice away from us? What would it expose? The philosopher Timon Green said, "We always assume what lies beneath, buried deep, is what is real. But what if the truth is actually the outermost layer? What if the grandest secret in the world is that there are no secrets and that everything is what it appears to be? Most believe the revealing knife to be the counterpoint to Green's idea. You open the door, and inside this building, which is easily several hundred feet tall, you see a massive room, singular. At one end of the room, there is what appears to be a lectern with a few benches around it, not very many. The bulk of the rest of this room is floor to ceiling books. There are two doors that are as large as this one on either side, either long side of the room. There is one door, I should say, behind the lectern, and that's all that's in this room. The entire room, however, is lit not so brightly and harsh that you can't see, but there's no shadow anywhere that you can detect. It is all light. At the far end of the room, by the lectern, there is a small desk, seated behind which is a man in a royal blue kind of a robe, with what looks to be a runic outlay on the hems of it. He has a small mustache and goatee, but the rest of him, at least what you can see underneath the hood, which is up, appears to be bald. His skin is a very pale green, and he appears to be writing on some sort of paper with a massive quill, very, very feathery, broad feathered quill. And there's a fairly large inkwell next to him, and periodically dip the pen and scratch at it and then do it again. Next to him is a stack of paper that's got to be 1.5 feet high, on top of the desk. So it's almost as tall as either of you. And he's just writing away. You are muted, Jeff.
I suppose we ought to approach.
What's little man doing?
What's what now?
What is little man doing?
Oh.
The golden one?
Sumner.
Yes. That guy.
As he walks in, he's looking around and his mouth is open, eyes wide, and he's staring around, and he immediately falls to the floor. on his knees, face pressed against the ground, bowing. After about 30 seconds of that, the man at the desk, without looking up, says, "Please don't. I am not one that requires worship. I am your fellow servant. Rise, Sumner." And Sumner gets up, real slowly, like he's not sure that's what he's supposed to do, but he gets up anyway, and doesn't appear to be any less stunned.
I will pat him on. Claire reaches over and pats him on the back in comfort and goes, "It's okay, buddy. Like you said, he's a servant too."
Okay. What are the other two of you doing? You actually before you say that, go ahead and you give me a perception check, Claire.
Oh shit! Hang on.
Dice. Must have dice. So 6. And did you want to put Benny into it or not?
Yeah, I'll throw a Bene at it.
All right. You notice that Narcario is not with you.
Where's he at?
He is at the door.
I'm gonna walk over to him, take his arm, and bring him in.
That might not be a good idea, he whispers.
You are with me. You are also a child of Visla. And if anybody doesn't like it, they can suck my butt.
He looks at you kind of strangely. Like he doesn't know what to say. And that's obviously not a normal thing for him. He usually has a quip or 5 ready to come back, but he doesn't have one here. And he lets you pull him in the door, but flinches almost like he expects to get set on fire or something. And then when it doesn't happen, you see he gasps and he looks up and looks around real quick, and then he bows his head and he looks down at the floor.
See? Mine.
Yes, Claire, yours.
She's gonna lead him in.
Okay. Now what are you doing?
Claire is trying to remember why we came here. No, Claire knows why we came here. Joanne is trying to remember why we came here because Joanne has a memory like a steel trap. Everything that went in got mangled. Help! Help me in Europe!
I walk toward the desk and say, "Do you know why we are here?"
Well, the man looks up and he stops scratching at the paper with the quill, and he looks up at you and he says, "Well, Albion Finch, I would presume that since you are here and you possess the 8 pieces of your soul, that you are here looking for the path that will lead you on your final leg of the circle."
I don't know. I don't really like going in circles. You go a lot of distance and then you really don't get anywhere.
We need to understand the threat facing the actuality, in particular, the threat that is already present in Indigo.
But you already understand that threat, do you not?
We need to understand the way to end the problem. We need to eject those who would do harm to Indigo and its residents. We need to eliminate the threat posed by the Thaw, who, unless I'm mistaken, are the servants of the enemy.
They are indeed, but it isn't just them.
Of course not. But we need to get answers to how we can shift the problem elements from our home. Raw power is not going to cut it. We need to know why they are there and how we can dissuade them from being there. If you've got some raw power to lend, then I suppose we would accept that as
Even I do not have that
a
much
runner-up.
power. However, the power to do so does exist, and you are well on your way to finding it.
Is it the power of friendship? Because I swear to God, if it's the power of friendship, I'm going to tear this temple down and take a piss on it.
No, if it were the power of friendship, my brethren and I would have been reconciled a long, long time ago.
Your brethren, so you are one of the Arabast.
Indeed. My name is Abrillion.
Brilliant. Pleasure to meet you. You know who I am. I will not introduce myself.
Who's his brother?
his brethren, presumably the Angular Serpentine, and who's the other fellow that we met? I can't remember.
The Thaw and the Magisterium and the Triumvirate.
Good God, they're everywhere.
Why, yes. Yes, they are.
Like rabbits.
And they have been working a very long time to subjugate the Vislay, to prevent them from finding the very power and knowledge that you seek.
Well, they screwed up, so can you tell us where we need to go to find this power where we can just take care of business?
Unfortunately, I can't. However, what I can do is give you the knowledge that you need to find that path, the last that you will walk.
That sounds
Very well.
both intriguing and very, very ominous. I have a second question, though, before you give us that knowledge. Can I leave Sumner here with you?
Of course, the Golden may stay. He has earned his rest.
Summoner, do you want to stay here or go with us on this final journey, final destination?
Okay, speaking of things that are ominous, Sumner looks at you and then looks at Abrillion and finally says, I would like to stay. This place feels like home.
Then welcome home, my friend. Welcome home. And she's going to pat him on the back. Because, you know, he lived with her for a bit, so I figured they became friends. So now she's going to be like, okay, where do I need to go to get the information to find the final location to walk the last path?
Abrillion looks at you for a moment and then he slides his hood back and you see that he's not quite bald. There is a very thin wisp of hair along the back of his head. It's gray, and it goes down past his shoulders.
Ugh. He and Sumner will be great friends with their unpleasantness.
He reaches out his hand, and you hear him say some words in the Vislay language that sound very much like summon and void. And in the air above his hand, you see a spinning black cube. This is what you seek. In times of old, this was how Visla had to communicate with her children because she couldn't speak to them directly. The laws that she lives under prevent it, at least while they are here. However, she devised a way that she could communicate pieces of information to them to help them as they sought to better themselves. You must bind the black cube, and inside you will find your answer. he'll go on and he'll say, the art which you do here comes at a lesser cost than elsewhere. It is one of Visla's gifts to this place. So out of game, what I'll say is that what he's telling you to do is to find the spell Bind the Black Cube and cast it there. And if you do so, you'll be able to cast it for less cost than it would normally cost you. To learn it, you're going to learn it in a special way that requires all four of you. And as such, the cost for learning it will get paid by all four of you. So instead of what is normally a 14th level spell, you can split that cost among you and pay that in acumen rather than each of you paying 14 to learn the spell.
I hate to say it, but this sounds a little bit like the power of friendship. Tearing down the temple.
Burn it down!
Okay. Do you know where we can find the understanding of casting this spell? I assume it's not at a grimoire hanging out in Grin's Grammary.
No. No, this is more about who you know than a book you can find laying around.
Is it Kadash? Do we need to find Kadash? Because he's dead. Well, he might not be dead. I assume that man can pull a miracle or two out of his back pocket. Who could teach us this spell?
One of my brethren, or perhaps someone who deals in secrets.
We have to go find that unpleasant man in the House of Secrets.
Again. Blah.
Well, I've been there now, so I can just open a portal for us, and we can knock on the door and see if he answers this time. Perhaps we can find the purple-eyed fella.
Isn't the purple-eyed fella the one that wants to kill me? Or was that the green-eyed fella?
As I recall, it was the green-eyed fella who is the angular serpentine.
Okay. I'm glad one of us remembers. You know, we should probably find Soman. He would know. I stole Josh's book.
That does seem like a good
Someone
option.
does
Perhaps
deal in secrets.
And then there's that dude at the home thought. Gambler.
The
Gambler.
Gabrian. Gabrian?
Gabrian. He is indeed an Erebashed.
okay.
And you've
Well,
been to the home thought, so let's pop there.
very well. We can go. It seems our friends have been called away. Uh, hmm. Yes, we should go. We should go and see if who can teach us the secret, and then we will find our colleagues in this endeavor and see if they can assist us with this ritual.
Okay. Where are you going?
The Order of Honed Thought, I guess.
Okay. You you're gonna open a portal to the Order of Home Thought from there. Is that the plan?
I would ask the man. I assume that you're aware that this area has been cut off from the rest of Indigo, hidden away in not quite a pocket dimension, but not
No,
quite.
that's exactly what it is. It's a pocket
Huh.
dimension.
Well,
And yes, it was isolated. The folk here, they have done enough. They have they 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 lived through the First War, and a lot of them suffered, and so I did what I could to preserve them, to preserve the worship of Visla. Um, I I wish I could have done more. I wish I could have taken all of the resistance that fought the Angular Serpentine in that war. I was not strong enough. I am not strong enough.
uh, well, my question, not to discount the trauma that you've just described, uh, was primarily concerned with uh, am I able to open a magical gateway between here and there? Or do we need to leave this area before we attempt such types of magic?
There, you have a friend. I believe his name is Mr. Burroughs, that learned something very interesting. And he goes through the stack of papers next to him. He pulls one out about a quarter of the way down, and he looks at it. He says, "There is no here or there. It is all one. A portal is just a step."
Very well. I do appreciate all of your mystic mumbo jumbo, but I just needed to know if I could use my spell. Thank you so much, though, for all of your deep insight into the nature of the actuality. It's been such a pleasure. Harry, was it?
A brilliant.
A brilliant. Oh goodness, I was way off. Sorry about that. I open a portal and
It opens up.
I say, Claire, are you ready?
Yes. I'm going to look at Sumner. Remember to eat healthy. Don't get lost in the books, okay? I'll come back and visit.
Eat
And
eat what you want and don't come for air when you're in the stacks. Live, however you want to.
he
at
needs to
least.
live a long time because if he dies before he finishes reading, then he'll be sad.
Perhaps his ghost can stick around and keep on reading. Sumner,
Fine.
it
If
has
you die,
been
I will summon you.
it has been an experience of my life to know you, and I feel neutrally about our acquaintance, which is better than I would have said several months ago. So I hope that your life here is uh, satisfactory and that you find your deeper purpose. Claire, come on. Grab your demon. We gotta go.
I'm gonna grab my demon and we're gonna go. I will send a message to Screech to head for another location.
Okay. You send a message to Screech to head for another location. Are you wanting him to meet you at the Order of Home Thought? Are you what are you wanting him to do?
I just want him to keep moving because he is rather noticeable. So his entire thing has been he keeps moving to where the thought will catch him.
Okay. He starts driving.
All right. When we get through to the other side, as soon as we step through, I say to Claire, that was
Illuminatingly unhelpful.
hmm, uh, perhaps annoyingly helpful, illuminating as well. These Arabast, they're so full of themselves. It's like they've never had to. It's like they've never had to wash their own laundry.
They remind me of the Vances.
Yes, they do. It's like if you took 15 Vances and smushed all the brains into one big brain, uh, and then made them fussier. Uh, I
With the ego
just
to match.
I just don't care for these Arabast. For the most part, they've been exhausting. But and they won't deal with their own family drama. I guess all the Thaw are Arabast too now. The
It makes me
bunch of
feel
weak.
like we should bring that show from Shadow with the chair throwing and the screaming people. What was it? Springston? No. Springer! That's it! The Springer show. We should totally bring that and have. And in this corner, the Thaw.
Was that a television program?
Yes.
I did not stick around long enough to see television become much more than some poorly written swill.
It was very poorly written swill, but it's very famous for the whole family drama. Who's the daddy? Brain rotting daytime TV.
I see. Well, that sounds wonderful. And I don't know that it's something I want to bring from Shadow into the actuality, but
Well,
that's a
it did
project
force
for
them. It did force them to face their family members and deal with their family issues in public.
which sounds healthy and not traumatizing in any way. So good for him, this Mr. Springsteen, Springer, so whatever it was that you said, uh, bully for him. Let's knock on the door.
Shave and
Is the
haircut, 2 bits.
is the headquarters of the Order of Hone Thought still standing?
Why, yes, it is.
Okay, wonderful. We will. We're not even going to knock. We're just going to open the door.
Okay.
Surprise!
You open the door. Just walking right in.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
honey, we're home.
There
I
is
will.
there is a surprised yelp from the other side, and you see that short Vance that you saw before, who was apparently reading a very, very large tome on a table, look up and jump like 6 feet into the air, come down and crash on the chair, and the chair falls, and he stumbles onto the floor. Don't you knock?
I don't. Not when there are important things to discuss. I need for you to find Kryter Minus, and let her know that Albion Finch and Claire Thespian are here to speak with her and her patron.
Claire will be during this. Claire will be giving the slow, quiet golf clap for his aerobatics.
Crider, I mean, and you see him back away in that crab walk, right? You know, he's upside down and using his hands and feet, kind of scooting away from the two of you. And finally, he flips over and starts racing off through the library towards Kreider's office.
Well, we didn't give him a heart attack.
No, I would have felt bad about that, but we do have dire need at the moment to.
And the clock is ticking.
Both of you give me a perception check.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw a sortilege at it.
I got a 10.
I got an 8 and a 7.
Okay, both of you, while faintly, can hear quite clearly this man talking to Kreider and saying, "And they scared the shit out of me."
No, we didn't, because it doesn't smell like it.
You need to do something about them. They're a menace.
You know, I've never been called a menace before.
I doubt that very much, Claire.
No, it's usually chaos or troublesome or obnoxious pain in the ass, but never a menace.
I've called you a few of those, yes.
About 2 minutes later, you see Kreider walking back across the library, not with this other gentleman. And as she's walking, she's got her hand like this, like she's trying not to laugh.
Kreider, it is wonderful to see you. So
Albion?
we just came from the Temple of Vizsla.
And she blinks a few times. It's real?
Oh, yes. And
It
Albion
is.
is quite a lovely, interesting character. Kind of reminds me of you, actually. Male version, but of you.
She looks at you kind of suspiciously.
There was an Arabast who was sitting at the desk all by himself in this large building, floor to ceiling, stacks of books, shelves of books, I should say. It did remind me a bit of this place, but on a much grander scale. He reports that he is responsible for there only being a lower Taversworth in Satyrine, that he lifted upper Taversworth out and tucked it away along with the temple. He also tells us that we need to find a spell that will bind the Black Cube.
Bind the Black Cube? Wow.
I don't expect that you know, but your patron that we met on our first visit here, it was intimated that another Arabast might have that secret and might be willing to teach us the practice so that we could bind the Black Cube in order to reach into its deepest, darkest places and extract the power to eliminate the enemy once and for all. That was more dramatic than I intended for it to sound, but I'm very pleased with how dramatic it did sound.
That cagey old bastard. I never had any idea. One of these days, I'm going to devote a week and I'm going to go up there and I'm going to hound him for every single secret that he's kept from me.
You might want to make it a month.
He has lifetimes of them, it seems, so.
It's just not fair.
Apparently, the Erebast are something approaching immortal, and the Thaw are among their number. They must be some of the weaker Erebast to have been so fully enslaved by the Angular Serpentine, but powerful enough, frightening enough for your run-of-the-mill Vizsla.
Very well. Come with me. And she leads you up the grand staircase and to the room, the private library where you met him before, and opens the door and leads you inside. And I think that's where we'll take our break. However, normally we would come back. I think with two of our cast gone, Synth is going to be gone for the rest of the stream. I think we'll cut the stream short here because the stuff that we're about to get into needs really all four of our cast members. So we appreciate you joining us for even the short amount of time that we had you. We'll be back in a couple of weeks, hopefully, with another episode of the Soul's Direction and our Vizsla learning where they're going to be able to go to find the power to change their world. And with that, from our Citadel to yours, happy gaming.